What is going on, everyone? My name is Joseph Reynolds, and today joining me is Mr. Reuben Beresford. The last time we saw him in the cage as a UKFC Grand Prix against Hassan Hussein. I'm sure still got big plans for 2023. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good, man. Not too bad myself, and yeah, hopefully some big news, some plans coming soon. So just wanna get back out there and show skills and just show how much I've improved over the time of being off.
Yeah, and as well, I know you mentioned in terms of you wanted to get back into competition around May, June time. But in terms of sort of looking at what could be there this year, what does the next step sort of look like?
The next step's really it's just I've been trying, as you mentioned, to get back in May, June, but no luck so far. But the next steps, it's I always leave things in my coach's hands, and it's up to what my coaches have in store for me. For me, competition-wise, the next steps, I want to get out in August, September, or from September onwards. So whether that's amateur, whatever the coach decides it's time to go pro, it's always in the coach's hands. I just train and just listen to what they tell me, and then I go from there.
Yeah, and as well in terms, obviously, during this time, I know you'll have been working hard in terms of and having the time to reflect upon that last fight. But in terms of sort of looking at that version from the last time we saw you into the cage to now, what do you think are some of those biggest differences with that slight time outside the cage?
I think the big difference is I've had a lot of time in between. I thought last September to now to do a lot of skill building. So I've really just looked at areas of my game, really, just leveled up in those areas and just continue to improve. And just getting in like my mindset back, getting back to performing like how I know I can perform, like looking back at my old fights when I was doing well and then going from there. And during that time, I think I've improved a lot. I've added a new things to my game. So I'm excited to come out there and just show everybody that I'm back to my best now, and just what I was doing before when I was just on a tear. I'm going to come back and go on another tear. So I'm excited to show a new improved Reuben.
100%. And in terms of sort of the landscape of the division as well, obviously, with amateur MMA, there's always new names that come through very quickly, and I'm sure you'll have noticed a few as well that have come through. But in terms of looking at this division and looking at some of the potential opponents, how are you sort of feeling taking a look at the division at the moment?
Have a little look. There's a few good people coming up now. So I've had a little look and seen who's about. Think in terms of amateur, what there's Jordan Rutherford had a good last fight last night at Kingdom. He looked well there. Um, there's a few other people on the scene I've had a look. I've had a look at. I've seen there's a few like amateurs who transition to pro, and I've looked at them, and they look good. They look keen. In terms of the level of competition, I'm excited for the new challenges, but I'm ready to just come out there and just show people my level. Not to disrespect everyone, but I feel like I'm going to come out there and just show a completely different level in the welterweight division.
Yeah, and as well, obviously, a lot of the teammates that you have got in the gym, they're taking big steps into their future, whether it's a pro or as an amateur. So in terms of being around that and seeing the successes they're having while having your own as well outside the cage, what's that sort of like to be around sort of day in, day out as a fighter?
It's great being around it because at the moment at the gym, the level is so high and the vibe so high. Everyone's all pushing each other, and everyone's got like a lot of fights, so everyone's pushing each other. So being there, it's just you can't help but improve, and you can't help get better. Like every class and every session, I even get nervous to go and train on the mats because the level is just so high that it's nerve-wracking against everyone's so good, but it hasn't half helped like push up my level too, and then force me to only get better and to only improve.
Yeah, and in terms of sort of taking a look at the landscape sort of even of UK MMA now, in terms of when you last compete, obviously there's new shows that have come in. We mentioned a little bit in terms of the new fighters that have come into the division as well. But in terms of where you feel as though you want to slot back in, what is it that you're sort of wanting to do in terms of this next fight and what you're looking for from that?
Yeah, as you mentioned, there's a lot of good shows, to be fair, and that have come up, and then they're often like a lot of good matchups. So I'm excited to take a part of jump on those shows, especially with what Kingdom FCC and the matching a lot of high level fights, and there's a lot of like high level amateur fights and a lot of high level pro and entry level fights. So in terms of me slot myself in there, I'm always want to fight the best guys and come and take on high level opponents. So I'd like to slot back against someone high level, and someone who's someone high level, someone who I feel is going to be a dangerous fight, because I feel like I shine my best when it comes to a dangerous and it's a tough opponent. I think it brings out the best in me. So if I come back and getting slotted against a high level opponent would suit me fine, because that's just going to force me to just show him how much I've improved and show me level.
Yeah, and then in terms of, obviously, you mentioned there with the different shows that have come in, and obviously it means that it's easy for fighters to get matched. So it has meant that your division's been able to see that growth as well. Before there weren't sort of as many fighters as in the other weight classes, but now it seems as though at the moment there's as many as we've seen now as we have for a long time. Do you feel as though there is a lot more fighters in your division, and does that mean it's just much more sort of easy to look at what can be next and seeing the division get that push as well? What's that sort of been like to view?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, there's a lot of new people who've come up, and there's a lot of new fighters in the division. So back when a few years ago, I said maybe if you like the higher weight classes, maybe like welterweight, there wasn't weighing as much. But now it's there's a lot coming through, and it's a good landscape, because I've seen like there's people maybe 2, 3 years ago I haven't heard much of them, and I've seen them come through and starting and they're doing well, obviously, and there's a lot of attention to divisions. Also, there's a with the 74 kg, the light welterweight in that. That's a good new emerging division, and I've seen like there's a lot of good fighters there. So I've from 74 to 77, I'm always looking to see who's about, and who the best guys are. So I feel like there's endless opportunities there to fight good fighters.
Yeah, and then in terms of sort of taking a look at what there is left this year in terms of what you're looking to do, if you could sort of plan out sort of the ideal remainder to 2023, obviously it's hard to predict with UK MMA what you are going to be able to do at times, but in terms of what an ideal way to end this sort of year would be, what does that look like?
Ideal year for me would be 3 fights, 3 finishes, and that would be my ideal year. Go and get 3 fights. If I can't, 2 fights, 2 finishes. So I want to come out there and put on 3 dominant performances. Go back to showing everyone like what I used to when I was on the rise. That that I'm show me level. I'm back to my best. I feel after some poor performances in retrospect. I think I've had a few poor performances, but come back and show everybody that I'm back to my best now, and just show me level and get 3 dominant performances, 3 finishes, and then we look at the landscape from there. So, like I said, maybe 1 or 2 more amateur, then the pro, or it's 1 more amateur, then it's 2 pro. We'll go from there, but like I said, I fully trust my coaches, and I leave everything in their hands. So whoever they bring to me, or they give to me, or what they tell me, I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
100%. And then in terms of sort of taking a look now of what you are able to do in the cage, obviously, when an amateur comes up, they're able to have that fast rise. They may get 3-0, 4-0, whatever it may be. Then they lose a fight, and sometimes they may drift off and not even fight again after getting that. But obviously, you've returned, you've come back, and then you're eager to get back once again. So, in terms of knowing you're able to overcome those sort of adversities where there are bumps in the road, what does that sort of say to yourself to know you are able to deal with those situations?
It just comes down like to your mental toughness, really, and just not giving up on yourself and continue to believe in yourself. Because when I was off for a bit, like I tore my meniscus, so I done the lateral and meniscus, lateral and medial, sorry. So from 2019, it helped with the COVID. I was out for 2 years, just trying to rehab it, and come back, and then still with a bit of a bum knee, and then again fighting tough guys, and then obviously didn't go to plan, and then so finally got the surgery, got my knee back to its best. So I was basically say my last two fights, really having a bum knee and just working through that. But now it's all fully better. It was I think it shows you I can just come back and just know that I've still got the skill level, and my mental toughness is always going to be there, because like I said, it's easy when you start to go on a bit of a skid a bit. You start thinking, maybe I don't belong at this level, or maybe I'm not good enough here. But like I said, we were training with the guys at the gym, and then knowing that I'm on that level, I always knew that I had the skill. It was just taking the time to actually rehab myself and get myself back to where I need to be, not just both sharpness wise, but mentally there, like it's not in your head anymore. So now I've got all that going for me. I'm fully excited to really show me full skill level.
And then just a final thing for myself is, obviously, having the time at the cage, what is the one thing you want people to take note of when the return date is finally announced?
Take note of, just expect me back to my best and doing what I do best, going in there, finishing people, putting on a high-paced, exciting fight. I'm either going to go in there, get the finish, or I'm going to push the pace, put a high pressure, and beat my opponents up for 3 rounds. So you can expect me back to my best and putting on a truly high-level performance, and in true Reuben Beresford fashion.
Well, there you go. That's everything from myself. If you'd like to take a chance to any sponsors, things like that, obviously feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say shout out to the gym, MMA Academy Liverpool, all the coaches, all my teammates, Liverpool Combat Academy with Lawrence Fitzpatrick. Shout out to Temple Sports, always been with me. Date Nights Away, shout out to them. And yeah, thank you for having me on, and just look forward to getting back out there and showing levels.
100%. An absolute pleasure as always. I really appreciate your time today. Obviously, Reuben Beresford, keep an eye out on the name. I'm sure you'll see when the fine news does eventually drop. But I appreciate your time today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joey. Have a good one.
You too.